Hello, YouTubers and watchers. I am Kartoffel, and I am starting a new tutorial series, A Source Filmmaker, on how to basically do stuff that you would love to do, but it's too hard to do because no one can explain it to you. So, let's start off with how to make a nice poster. Now, I know the first people that picked up Source Filmmaker uh, didn't make good stuff because no one knew what the heck they were doing with the program at the time. I was one of those people. I picked it up when it came out in open beta. When it first came out in open beta, it's still in open beta right now, but nonetheless, we'll start. Okay, so you have your basic lovely scout who is just standing in reference position. So why don't we'll start with getting him a pose. Now you don't have to manually pose him himself because that's stupid. Why would you want to do that? That's late. That's just stupid. So we're gonna be lazy, and we're gonna have him jumping. Now you can just simply filter by hitting any button on your keyboard, and we'll just do. He's floating in midair. Now of course he looks stupid like this. So of course you want to move it like that. Move your X across so he'll be walking, jumping forward and floating and stuff. Okay, so you have him in this position right here. Now, of course, you want to move him around and adjust him. So use your work camera, and it will also provide any materials, such as this nice layout that I have created for myself right here. I mainly use this one for poster making, which is why I call it poster. So move him a little bit away. And also, you want to create a nice background for yourself. So you got mountains and all that pretty stuff. So we got him floating, but problem is he's still moving. And when you go, yeah, shit, that's not supposed to happen. When you get like this, he's got all freezy. So what you want to do is go into render settings. Make sure first the ambient inclusion is off because you will run a lot faster while in source image. So you want to turn off motion blur, but hey, now everything looks stupid. I don't even know why. So you want to go to scout, playhead, drag it all the way across. Now he will no longer move. Beautiful. This is a good way if you want to keep other objects in motion, but you want to keep other stuff not in motion. So you see a blur on some stuff and no blur on another. That's why we do playhead. So to start, we have your basic scout, but he's not carrying any weapons, so of course weapons are very important. So we'll load up some weapon models for scout to use. We'll give him a basic scatter gun, since that's easy. Okay, so first thing when you want to attach a scatter gun to your scout, you want to make it look like it's actually holding it. Now, if you manually placed it yourself, that would take some time, and we're not going to do that. So, we're going to drag Scout on top of Scattergun. Wait, no, that didn't work. There you go. You'll see a little lock symbol will come up here, right up here, and now you'll see it locked in all these other bones. Only problem is, when you drag it, what you'll want to do is put in this position to drag a 0. And this looks nice. Hooray, you did it. However, in some occurrences, you want to unlock certain bones because certain bones don't do what they're supposed to do because this is Source Filmmaker and this is in beta and hooray. Alright, so next part. Scout looks ugly. He needs hats and stuff. So, actually first, we'll take his hat off. Now many people I've been asked by a lot of people, how do you take Scout's hat off? Well, luckily with the newest update, they updated Scout's HWM model, so you could actually take his hat off. First you want to take the headphones off, and then the hat. No. Hat. There, now he's got hair, in case any of you have wondered if he has hair. He does. So we'll get some cosmetic items ready for all of the people that are watching. Alright, you want to go into player items, and then you'll be able to filter through cosmetic items. So we'll go to scouts stuff, but we can also go to all class, but that's silly. Give him a boombox because he's from Boston, which doesn't make sense. Once again, you want to drag scout on top of the cosmetic item that you want to apply, and it will lock all his um, lock all the bones that they have in common. Now you'll see Scout also has a backpack. Guess what? You could do the same thing with his backpack. Pack. Notice how they don't call it a backpack. Okay, so you already dragged on top of it. All you have to do is drag your zero slider, and bam, it's on his back, looking like it should. Oh, he does need a pack. I don't play Scout enough. I don't even own this miscellaneous item. See, now it looks nice. That's what it's supposed to look like, apparently. Alright, now, he can't just have that. He has to have more hats, of course. So we'll give him a beanie. Now, you don't want to give him a red beanie, because that's ugly. So, I'm going to show you people how to do a basic coloring of an item. Now, I'll give you guys the script setup script for you. I'll give you a download link, and I'll show you, and I'll give you simple instructions on how to apply the script in. All you have to do is, I have it set up here, so I'll just have to set up Delta, and it'll give you lots of nice little colors to choose from. Also, if you don't want to use those colors, you can simply go to black, go to element viewer, model, go down to materials, which is now created because of the scout, and we'll open the first one since we don't want to give him any of the special styles that the beanie has, and we'll decide. So if we want to make it Australian gold or Team Spirit, I'll also give you guys this file that I found on the internets. Give him After 8 because it's slightly black but not black. Notice how there's no difference because it's still black. We'll give him pink because I hate scouts and they always wear pink. Now it's pink. Now once again, just drag scout on top of the item. You'll see locked to his head in his root transform. And there you go. He has a pink hat. Now, it ain't a cool hat unless it's an unusual hat. So we're going to start by going to create animation set for new particle system. Hit browse and it'll open up your particle folder, which has all these nice little folders here. Notice the new kill streak particle file, but that's not important because I don't know how to do that just yet. You open up item effects. This will open up all the certain items such as unusual effects as well as other ones that don't pertain to hats. So we'll just give them a nice one that's expensive, such as bubbles. That's not expensive. Now I personally just like to put it like this because it will run indefinitely. You don't have to do anything. Now you won't see there's no bubbles. Why aren't there any bubbles? Well, it has to be re-rendered. So just toggle the eye, and all of a sudden bubbles will appear on your screen because bubbles. And simply drag the bip head bone on top in the scout's body, the bip head. Just drag that on top of the control point of the particle effect, and drag the zero slider, and that will give him the particle effect. All you have to do is play a little bit ahead, and you'll get that effect. Actually, I probably shouldn't use bubbles because that won't show up well with lighting. So we'll give him burning because that shows up well, or scorching. We'll give him scorching. Looks fancier. All right, burning 2. That's scorching. In case people were wondering. And there we go. We got green flames. So we'll do the same thing we just did again. Bip head and control point, and drag the zero slider, and bam, flames, green flames, beautiful. Now you got him with a weapon, his backpack, his nice little hat, pink hat. Now we're gonna focus on camera. Now it's very important when you're making a poster that you have good camera position because that's very important. In case you didn't wonder what I was doing, I just went into the little camera slider, hit create animation set, and you'll get a animation set for your camera. Now you want to use these lenses. These are very helpful because it makes your poster look nice. Because if you do it like this, I am gonna hurt you. You shouldn't have a poster looking like this. This looks ugly as crap, and I hate you if you do that. So you can use. Personally, I use 24 millimeter because that's the one of the norms for the film industry. You can also use 35 and 50 if you want to make it more actiony. That's so we got our scout looking pretty tough. It's got the scorching flames and looking pretty good. Now we're gonna focus on lighting because that's very important in a poster as well. Now it's a little bit too bright, so lighting won't be very helpful. So we're gonna tone down the lighting by dragging the tone map scale. This is a very sensitive slider, so you only want to adjust it a little bit. Now to create a light, we'll create new animation for light. I have a special setting so it has all my stuff organized. Now if you want to, you could drag the light on top of one of your screens and you'll be able to adjust the light like a camera. So, basic tutorial of lighting. You'll want to create 3 lights that focus on the parts of the scout, which is called 3-point lighting. You want your feature light, which casts the most light on the scout. Now you want another one, which gets the back side of the opposite side of the scout, such as this little area right here. This is the little area that you want to get with your second light. So we'll adjust that. So it's getting the back side of him. This light will gain the front side of him, so it's producing the most amount of light. And it's illuminating the scout the most. Now we'll just adjust the settings on them. Now the third light will be the backcast. I don't know the specific names for the lights because I am not a technician and I'm not a cinematographer. That's not my job. Instead, I do this because I'm too young to do that stuff. Alright, lastly you want to make your backlight. This will provide the backlight, make that little shine on your scout on the back of him. Looks pretty nice. Now sometimes in certain situations you won't see much light coming from him. Now, right now, this is enough. This seems to be enough light. But if you want to get more light, just drag this constant attenuation, and it gets you a really bright light. Let me just give you a better reference. It's this bright. So, put this in the back of the scout. Stupid trees in the way, but that's okay. And if you hit F2, you'll be able to see a basic overview of what you're going to see when you render your poster. This is a little bit too bright, so I'll just tone this down a little bit to get rid of that sheen, the harsh sheen. So right now, Scout looks pretty boring. Let's give him a smile because he's a cocky little asshole. So we'll filter through face, click on the emotions tab, and we'll give him a nice, happy, big face. Slide that all the way. And now he's super happy, but he's not really looking at you, so we'll adjust his neck. And also, if you go into face and eyes, you'll be able to adjust the view target, which is what his eyes will be looking at. So just make sure he's somewhat looking at you. Doesn't mean it have to be perfect. No one cares. Okay, now you got your nicely lit poster. It's got the flames and everything. You're happy. Now turn on ambient occlusion. Now, when you look at it like it's supposed to, you still see little black dots. That's why, going back into render settings, you turn your depth of field up. I personally put up to 128. You can do it differently, whatever you feel like. Now you'll get rid of that little black dots that make it look really ugly. So, lastly, I also want to add in just make sure you focus your characters in. So, this is called the focal distance slider on the camera. This will just show what particularly will be focused on the most. Then you turn your aperture up, and you'll be able to see all the other stuff goes out of focus and the scout comes into focus. You can adjust your aperture so everything on that's in your negative space will become fuzzier. So right now you got a nice poster looking thing. Now you'll want to render it. We'll go into File, Export, and Poster. I personally have all these stuff, so I'll just call it Scout Tutorial because this is a tutorial and he is a scout. And we'll export it. I personally put them as TGAs because guess what? We're going to edit it in Photoshop for nice little effects. So let's just wait for it to render. I'll open up the folder that will hold it. It's right here. Now, if you don't have Photoshop, there are other means to edit your photos. You can use GIMP for basic editing, such as contrast, vibrance, and other very basic things. But I personally use Photoshop for the more advanced tools. But you don't have to have Photoshop. I understand you people don't want to download it illegally, like I did. Or buy it, or if you have the money, buy it legally. I honestly don't care. Adobe has the money and the means to not care that I personally download it legally. Whoop-de-doo. So we got 2 tiles rendered. Right about now, we're running the 3rd tile. I'll start up Photoshop so we can get cracking. Right now, I'll play some fancy music for you. Alright, congratulations. Your poster has been successfully rendered. Hooray! So we're going to go down to Scout Tutorial and drag it into our Adobe Photoshop CS6 window, and you get it right nice there. So we'll start making basic adjustments. First you want to start with your brightness and contrast. I personally like lots of contrast, which will cause the light to come out more and the darkness to go darker. So tone down the brightness a little bit, and you get this nice little effect. You can't produce this really in Source Filmmaker, however, if you do some little adjusting, you probably could without using Photoshop. I also personally tone down vibrance a lot and then turn saturation up a lot. This produces a nice little effect, so it gets rid of these makes all these dark colors very much darker, but all the brighter colors such as red and the pink and the green much brighter. I personally like this effect. However, it's your own style, so do whatever you want with it. It's your own poster. I also want to do color balance. So I'll tone down the cyan, turn up the blue. Gets a nice bluish effect in the midtones. For shadows, I turn up some red. Actually, we won't do that. I don't like it anymore. And for highlights, this will basically just make anything you want red or magenta or whatever you feel. Now this, I feel, is a nice poster, so we'll save it as a JPEG because that is the basics of photos. Make sure your quality is up. most because it's a JPEG and you don't want ugly JPEGs. And there you go. This you have now created a nice poster. Alright, if you liked this video, like what I showed you, hit subscribe, like it, do whatever you feel. If you don't like it, don't like it. If you don't want to subscribe, don't subscribe, but come back and watch anyway because you need to learn how to do Source Filmmaker because it's a nice little tool that Valve has provided for the community. Alright, thank you for watching. I'll make sure I do some more when I feel. Alright, bye.